Howdy, folks. This is Rebecca Jolly, the Jolly Alchemist, with a personal story about the transits. I told you I mentioned this a little bit, but I didn't actually tell the story that was behind it. And since there aren't a lot of people jumping up and volunteering yet, that's okay. I understand. I thought I would come in and fill the void since I do have a story of something that's happened to me as a result of doing these transits and living inside the transits, and it has to do with that thing that I mentioned about the 61 line 4. Now 61, I don't have my charts behind me, but 61 is that gate of mysteries of the world, making sense out of the esoteric knowledge. And 61.4 in specific is research to explore the depths of inner truths. And I mentioned when I did the recording for Wednesday, the 16th of July, that, oh, hey, this looks familiar to me. I had looked back, and we had that in our moon on the 11th, which was the Friday before. Double check that real quick. Yeah, Friday the 11th is when we had that in the moon. And I was like, oh, hey, here it is again. And you have to know about me that I'm not emotionally defined, which means that on a normal day when I'm by myself, I'm just pretty chill, just pretty regular. I don't feel all the feelings. I don't have a whole lot of up and downish kind of affect for myself. And after I gave that transit report on the, what was it, the Wednesday? Yeah. I got real down. Oh, I went to bed. I couldn't do anything. I felt horrible. And I thought, okay, things have been going great for me. Why am I so friggin' down? Like, what's wrong with me? And I started to get real depressed, and I started to think, what is the point of all this, man? I don't really see it. So I got real low. And when I got low, all of a sudden the song Pronoia came into my mind. And Pronoia was the song that had been in the transit for that Friday when 61.4 hit the moon. And there's a line in that song that says something like, if maybe these rejections were for my own protection or something like that. The thought being that maybe the low things that we go through and the rejections and the loneliness, the things that we all experience in life, maybe there is a reason for that. Maybe there's something happening that's going to support us later. And I realized in that moment that I needed to get low so that I could be grounded in the transits that I was doing. I had mentioned to you that because I record the transits ahead of time, it makes this effect in me where I'm living in the future. I'm living on, next Tuesday, next Friday, someday in the future, because I've got these transits in my head that way. It's almost like I myself need to go back and watch my own transits on the day that they land on the channel and experience that to ground myself. And I'm going to try to start doing that. But it was a real shocking to me. It was grounding in saying, hey, that thing that you recorded days ago, here it is swinging around. And on the actual day it's supposed to be, what do you know? It's so relevant. So I thought, well, okay. So I needed to feel this downness. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had that reason to go back and look at the transits like that and go, oh, shit. It's not okay to just be living in the future. I do need to also swing back around and connect to the energy that's happening today. And I wouldn't have seen that unless I would have had, by chance, that connection between the 61.4, that deep research and exploration that came up on both of those days. So it working out like that was actually very interesting for me. The song of that day was exactly the song that I needed, and it worked both on the day that it arrived And on the day that, so the day it arrived for me to do the transit report, which was days earlier, and on the day that that 64 or 61 line 4 actually was relevant in our energies. So I don't know, the story might not be as interesting to you as it was to me when it happened, but when it happened, I was like, shit, okay, damn. All right, so I went down because I needed to go down in order to be able to have this insight into how it works. I'm a fifth gate being, so I have the fifth gate, and it's in one of my Mercuries, I believe. I'm not over where all my stuff is, so I can't quick check my chart, but it's definitely something that I'm supposed to be both talking about with others and figuring out in my own life. And I have not been a very orderly person in my life, and I'm trying to establish order and rituals for myself, and these transits are a part of those rituals. And I'm learning all the time about how those rituals are supposed to be working for me, and this was another step of that learning process for me. And that's the way human design works. If we engage with our design, so you have to not just pull it up and look at it once, but you got to read all of your gates, and then you got to kind of live with your gates. And when they come up in the transit, you got to go, oh, okay, well, where is that for me? Like if I say, oh, today we're in 61 and 62 line 6. For me, 61 and 62 line 6, that's in my unconscious nodes. So it gave me an opportunity to look at that again and see, okay, this is how things are looking for me. This is the kind of environment that I'm passing through in my life. This is the neighborhood the car of my consciousness is driving through, so to speak. That's the analogy that I use in my cheat sheet, which is available, by the way, if you contact me from my website, jollyalchemy.com. Our environment. Okay, so I had a chance to look at my environment as I see us passing in the global energy through gate 20. This gives me an opportunity to look at that circuitry in me and how that gets filled. So it's an ongoing experiment. And as we look at ourselves and learn something a little bit every day in that ongoing experiment, we will find things. And these are things that make us not only understand ourselves better, for those of us who are generators and have that deep desire to understand and know ourselves, but also to fall in love with ourselves, to love ourselves, and to be able to be ourselves in spite of conditioning, outside forces. I never had the desire to be an influencer, but if me being myself is any influence on anyone else, that's what I'm here for. But not to do it in a fake way, not to say, look, my life is so perfect, but to say, I'm learning and growing, and after 4.5 years of being in this experiment, I am starting to see results. I'm a manifesting generator. We are, in my opinion, the most fucked up on the planet of all, because we have this unfortunate coincidence of both the power to be able to manifest and the energy to be able to manifest, and that can take us very far in the wrong direction if we get really going in that wrong direction that way. But it also means that when we rein ourselves in and start to be who we're supposed to be, which we can find out through the logical process of just looking up our charts, 64keys.com will show anybody that for free, then we can actually fit into our lives the way we're supposed to. And instead of having this sort of epidemic of hating ourselves, which everyone on the planet seems to have some bit of. Ross said after giving thousands and thousands of readings that was the number one most prevalent thing that he saw, that people just hated themselves. And it's kind of the point of human design to help us fall in love with ourselves and give us the strength to be ourselves, because who we really are and who we're really meant to be is what the world needs, not just another happy-go-lucky, let me take a picture of my food influencer, or let me lie to you to try to get more money kind of a person. It's not about that. It's about us growing up and being ready to be born again as some kind of being. And when I say born again, I mean it's not really born again. It's born for the first time as a planetary consciousness, as uh, as Gaia, as the essence that realizes that every single life on this planet is a piece of the livingness that is all of us. So that's my soapbox for today. That's my story. And if you learn anything from it, or it helps you in any way, let me know. We're all working here together. So take care of yourselves. Till I see you again. Ciao.